Justin, how's it going? What are you doing here in Atlanta?
Shit, I'm here to watch some awesome fights. Two of my favorite fighters, Dustin and Max, going at it.
This is your division. How do you see that going?
It's a win-win situation for me. Max is my favorite fighter in the UFC, so I want him to win. But if Dustin wins, it makes me look a little better. So I'm good either way.
What is it about Max that allows you Max your favorite fighter?
I met him in like 2008 when I started fighting. He was just started in the UFC, and he was down when he fought in Denver. I don't know who he fought, but he was at our gym working out, and he needed a ride home. I told him, I was like, I'll give you a ride home, and ever since that day, man, he was just so cool, and we've had kind of clicked since then.
Is that a fight you'd want?
And then as a fighter, I mean, the dude's a fucking badass, so I love the guy.
Would you like to fight him?
Would I like to fight him? I mean, I want to be the best in the world, and Max, absolutely, that would help me seal that deal.
Now that you have some distance from that Edson win, you've had a chance to sort of reflect on it. What are your thoughts on your performance overall, though?
I was great. I was great that night. This is a very finicky sport. I mean, sometimes you're on, sometimes you have a bad night, and I was on fire that night. Unfortunately for him, everything I threw landed, and I was just on fire. Again, I experienced it in the Vic fight, the patience, the ability to see things, to recognize things, to make a game plan, as the fight evolves. I've never had that before, and so I was really excited to go in there, create it again, and I had the same experience. So I'm fighting night and day from how I fought Johnson. The previous, what am I, 20-2? So the previous 19 fights or 20 fights, I fought different. Every time I stepped in there, it was different, and these last two have been different. And you always want to say that as you're winning. But that's the honest truth. My approach is different, and it's very refreshing to go in there and have that experience.
Do you feel like you've sort of unlocked something with these last two?
Yeah, I
something
did.
In your mind?
I did. I mean, so I think I don't remember who I watched, but I think it was Romero. He was just fighting very, very cautious, and I think he was like 8 minutes in, and he knocked the guy out, and that's all anybody remembered. And I was like, all right, I don't know if I have that one-shot power because I've never one-shot at anybody before Vic. But I think my coach told me from day one, if you have a little bit more patience and you don't try quite as hard, you will put people to sleep if you just place your shots. And so, I saw that, and I was like, no matter what, if you get the finish, that's all people remember. So I went in there, I was like, if I was to have a slow 2 minutes, then I think I would be forgiven to myself as long as I finish him. But no matter how I fight, I'm going to be in their face. The pressure is nothing they will ever experience, and I just have a lot of fun doing it.
Do you feel like you
talked a little bit about Khabib after the last win? And, what kind of feedback did you get? I know Khabib has some very passionate fans and everything.
I think people, I try to be as honest as I possibly can. I truly believe that I am the toughest matchup for Khabib. I don't think Max, I don't think Dustin, I don't think whoever wins tonight can give Khabib the fight that I can give him. Due strictly to my wrestling background. From 4 years old to 22 years old, I wrestled at the highest levels, Division I. And what Khabib did is different. His style of wrestling is different, but my ability to scramble will cause problems. And if I can get him just a little bit tired, I'm the last guy you want to be standing across tired from.
How much do you wrestle in your training?
So lately, yeah. So when I finished wrestling in 2011, I walked off the mat in Philadelphia, the same arena I just wrestled in or just fought in, and I was like, "Fuck this! I never want to do it again. I never want to shoot. I never want to be on the mat. I never want to experience that again because I did it for 18 years, and it was every year. I never got a year off, and I was done. And I had never fought. I'd never boxed, never kickboxed, never done any kind of striking. So I was like, I want to be a striker. That shit sounds a lot more fun. To me, it looks a lot cooler. So I started learning. Thank God I had the best coach, come into my life, Trevor Whitman. And he just molded my athletic ability into the fighter that I am. But over the last, 2 years, I brought my head wrestling coach from the University of Northern Colorado, Ben Charrington, in to start wrestling with me. And for 2 years now, I've been wrestling for 2 times a week. And my confidence in my ability to wrestle for that long is much greater now than it was, say, 2 or 3 years ago.
You talk about how you've kind of figured.
Something really quick. When do you think you're good back in the octagon?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up because I gotta kind of let it shake out right now. I mean, I would like my in my crystal ball, as everyone likes to say, I would like to fight either Tony or Conor because those are the fights that get me the winner of Khabib and the winner of tonight when they fight. I believe the winner of tonight, deservedly so, gets the shot at Khabib, and I want to put myself in a position to fight the winner of that fight. I think Tony and Conor do that for me. If they don't want to fight me, Tony's dealing with this whatever he has to deal with. I expect him to take as much time as he needs to come back 100%. I know he can come back right now. The dude's a warrior. There's no doubt about it. And Conor, yeah, who fucking knows what's going on with Conor? But they either take him out of the rankings if he's retired, or they keep him in the rankings and he has to fight somebody. If that's me, cool. If that's not me, cool. But there has to be some kind of structure to what's going on here. We can't just keep floating around. Like, I want to know what my path is, and you can't do that by saying I'm retired and being in the rankings and being ranked ahead of me. If you're going to be ranked ahead of me, if you're going to fight for the title, he doesn't deserve the title shot right now. So therefore, it's either me or it's Tony. So he has to pick one of those to fight.
Is it those two or bust, or are you willing to do
For me,
something
it's those two or bust. Those two, and if I have to, I think if obviously if they are not going to fight, then the winner of Donald and Al put me in line. The winner of that fight, if I fight them, then that puts me in line for the winner of Khabib and the winner of tonight. All I want to do is be in line next. So those three, I would say those three are bust.
Are you still over the Al fight, or are you kind of coming back around to it? If you
No, I mean, I don't want to. He's not going to fight me. I know for a fact the dude won't fight me. He's scared of me. He's publicly said he's scared of me, and no specific words, but he's scared of me. And whatever, I'm not gonna. I don't have much control. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready for my next fight. I'm fighting better than ever, so the next guy that has to fight me is gonna have to go through hell, just like every single guy that has ever fought me has had to do. Only two have come out successful. I wish I could have those two back. One day I'll get the Poirier fight back, which will get me both of those losses back since he beat Eddie twice. I think he beat him twice. And so, yeah, I got to get that back, which gets me my 2 losses back, and I have to fight the Russian.
Just really quickly, I want to revisit you saying, figuring out something with these last 2 fights. When you look back on the previous fights, do you feel like you almost felt like you had to live up to that moniker?
No, it had nothing to do with that.
Exciting?
I found success early, and I never changed it because I kept having success. And, in life, you'd be a fool to change your route if you're finding success. So, I couldn't U-turn, I couldn't take a left, couldn't take a right. I had to keep going down the path that I was on, and that was go out there, create chaos. And I was never the guy that never came out on the winning end of that until I faced Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. And even then, after the Eddie Alvarez fight, I wasn't sure that it wasn't still successful. So I had to go in there and do it again because I had a lot of success against Eddie fighting that fight, and I had a lot of success against Dustin fighting that fight. However, coming off 2 losses, I was able to go back and say, let's change. My coach was trying the whole time.
Yeah.
He was the best in the world. I should listen to him, but he also didn't want to say let's change, and then I lose, and then I kind of this is a mental game. That would have broke me in a sense. If I was to change without losing, and then to lose, then I would have been like, whoa, why'd you do that? And then I would start questioning myself, questioning my approach, my technique, everything. He let the cards, play out like they should have played out. I went out there, fought stupid fights, and lost 2 times in a row, and then we were able to go back to the drawing board and make changes.
So obviously,
that's what happened, and yeah, it's amazing.
Obviously, you never want to lose, but in a way, those are almost positive in retrospect.
Yeah,
because of what happened.
if you don't lose, if you don't learn from your losses, then you won't advance in this sport. I'm trying to be the best in the world. I'm fighting the best in the world. I didn't deserve those losses, but they earned them. They earned those losses. They fought through adversity. They fought through hell. Dustin still probably, his legs probably still not the same. Eddie, who knows? I would like to fight him again. But that's about it I got for him. I'm a fan of Eddie too, man. I'm a huge fan of both the guys that beat me. So, yeah, it's just a weird little sport that we play, a little game that we play. But I love it.
Who do you think sits on the Iron Throne by the end of this season? Who wins the show, basically?
Jack. What the fuck's his name?
John?
Jon Snow. He's a bad motherfucker.